All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the very first week of March as we kick off this new month. Can't believe the first 2 months of the year are over already. It's insane how quick time goes. But on today's call, we're going to talk about becoming the best. All right, the best version of you, the best agent that you can be, the best team leader that you can be. We're going to dive into what it's going to take for you to get from point A to point B, from where you're at right now to where you want to be at the end of this year. So we're going to jump into that. But if you missed last week's calls, go back on the YouTube channel. You got to click on the live tab. If you just click on the videos, you're not going to see all of them, but click on the live tab, go back and watch the morning calls. We went over finances. We went over a bunch of different stuff on the calls last week, tips from different agents. So go back and listen to those because it was a phenomenal training last week that you guys can dive into if you're new to joining us here. So without further ado, let's kick off this call by going over just some exciting things, some agents who absolutely crushed the week last week. As we jump into this week, guys, the verse of the day, right? Coming into this Monday morning, whether you're having a phenomenal Monday or whether you're having a case of the Mondays, maybe you woke up with a flat tire. Hey, I don't know, but check out this verse. It's Proverbs 16:3. It says, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. All right. How true is that? If we commit what we're doing to him, he puts down the path for us to take. He opens up the right doors and he closes the wrong doors. And so as you go into this week and especially into this Monday morning, think about this verse, right? This is a verse I got to constantly go back and remind myself of is the effort that I'm giving today, right? Is it committed to him or is it committed to me? Usually when it's committed to me, I tend to screw it up. I take the wrong path. But if it's committed to him, I end up going down the right direction, right? The right path. So commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. This is so true, whether you're picking up the phones this week to do some telesales or whether you're knocking on the doors in the field. You commit what you're doing to him. It's amazing how the right people tend to answer the phones. It's amazing how the right people tend to answer the door. All right. And you end up having just a phenomenal week. So take that verse and run with it this week. Let's talk about the top 15 on the week last week. Big shout out to Paulo. Paulo had a big week last week. Dougie Fresh, always having a nice week for him as he's in the top 15. Big shout out to Kay. Kay is leading the way for Honey Rocks, showing everybody what's possible. Way to put your name up there, Kay. Big shout out to Sam. Hey, let's give Sam just a huge shout out. She pushed so hard over the past 2 weeks, all right, to just find the production. She was hitting a lot of people that were covered or were sick or were this or were that. But what I love about what Sam did is she continued to push and she put her name in the top of the charts there. Big shout out to Jennifer. Like always, she's one to watch out for. Jennifer's always in the top 15. All right. Always working consistently. Nice work to you, Jennifer. Big shout out to Jenny Ivy being in the top 15 like usual. Big shout out to Taylor Littleton working alongside Stephanie. All right. Up there in Delaware. She had an awesome week going over 5K for her. Big shout out to Chad with a 5K week. He's coming back to this year with a vengeance, putting up some big AP. So nice work to you, Chad. Let's give the one and only Wonder Woman a shout out. All right, over 5K for her. Sometimes she just, has to pick up the phone a little bit and show us all what's possible. And she did that last week, going over 5K. It's funny. Sometimes you meet people that you just can't beat no matter what you do. All right. And my one and only wife, Alicia, is one of those people for me. Doesn't matter how good I am in the field. She just can always beat me. She could go out there with one lead and somehow close 10 people. I don't know how she does it, but she's phenomenal at this, which is why this company is where it is. So nice work to you, Wonder Woman. Joni with an awesome week. I know she was well over 6K for her, putting up the AP like usual. Nice work to you, Joni. Big shout out to Rebecca again in the top 5. I don't know if there's been a week this year that Rebecca's not been in the top 5. So big shout out to her. Big shout out to Ray, was agent of the week last week or the week before, one of those weeks, and then jumped in here, top 5 again for him. Aaron, last year's agent of the year, still putting her name at the top of the chart as she found herself in the top 3. Now we got another one running for agent of the year. Becca had a huge week, going over 11K for her again. It's like the second over 10K week she's had in just the last few weeks. So big shout out to Becca, doing big things over here as she found herself in the top 3. And then taking home number 1, it's going to be the dude to beat this year, Dennis, over 13K on the week for him. You guys got to hear from him on Monday's call. So big shout out to you, Dennis, claiming agent of the week. But guys, so many of you, all right, this is the top 15, right? But we had so many of you hovering right around the verge. You were like an app away from putting your name and kicking one of these agents out of the top 15. So this week, I know the competition is going to be fierce, but nice work to you guys. Top 15, putting your name at the top of the chart. In case you guys missed this, all right, our online academy is live now. Okay. The first course loaded in there is a new agent field training course, but even experienced agents, go back and listen to it. Watch those videos. You'd be surprised how sometimes you might have picked up a habit that you don't know that it's actually hurting you out there in the field. Maybe you've been doing this for years. All right, go back and watch that course. All right, guys, this course, we're really excited to have it launched now because we're going to be uploading training content regularly here for you for all different things, from the field to the phones. All right, we're working on a telesales course that's going to go live there soon. We're going to work on annuities, health, Medicare, you name it. It's all going to be inside of here, and you guys can log into here and take those courses whenever you want to. And it's going to be very big for you new agents to tune into that as you kickstart your career here. So the link for that is in the announcements in the agency WhatsApp chat. So make sure you go check it out. Anybody can enroll, right? Totally free. So you can jump in there, enroll, and start taking those classes there. Let's talk about the Wells of Life. So I got confirmation last week, all right, that our donation had gone through, and they're going to work on getting that well built and set up. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. That was possible because of all of your guys' hard work, right? One thing this year that we really wanted to dive into as a company is, how do we give back to people the most, right? That's ultimately why we're here, is to serve people. So how can we take our resources and give back to those in need? And this was the first avenue that we wanted to do. So we as a company were able to donate that well to a country. I believe it's going to be in Uganda. Wells of Life is going to pick the community, but they're going to go there, dig, and actually install that well for that community, because most of them have to travel miles a day just to get clean drinking water, right? How sad is that for kids that can't get good water? So that was a big mission that we had. And thanks to you guys, all of your hard work as a company, all right, we were able to fulfill that need for people. So big shout out to you guys. All the credit, right, is to God and to you guys working hard and giving the company the opportunity to be able to do stuff like this. So you guys should be super proud of yourselves there. Stay tuned for that. I'll share more updates as the progress goes with that well and it getting built out there. So pretty cool setup there that we're excited to contribute to. And let's talk about becoming the best, okay, on today's call. How do we become the best? I know some of you saw that, right? And you instantly thought, I'm not competitive. I don't need to be the best, right? I just want to be comfortable. But I'm not talking about becoming the best out of everybody. I'm talking about becoming the best version of you. All right. So I promise you, you're going to want to tune into this call, because this is going to take you from where you're at to where you want to be at. And whatever that looks like for you. So many of you are running towards financial freedom. You're running towards paying off debt. You're running towards, being able to save money. Maybe this is the first time, all right, in your life that you actually get to stack some money away in a savings account, or to pay for your kids' college, your grandkids' college. You have a lot of different missions out there, depending on who you are, right? And today's call is going to dive into, how do you actually get to do that? All right. So number one, let's talk about drive. What is the driving force for you to become the best? Do you have that drive? Guys, some of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we might have woke up today kind of in survival mode. Maybe you're running into Monday feeling like you just got to survive to the end of the day. It's time to get out of that, right? It's time to have the drive of not just surviving, but actually being the best at what you do. All right. Some of us, we're just waiting for things to happen. And guys, things don't just happen. All right. I love this picture. I seen this picture on Facebook over the weekend. I don't even remember who shared it, but I took a picture of it and wanted to share it with you guys. And it said, quote of the week: God is in control, but he doesn't expect you to lean on a shovel and pray for a hole, right? How true is that? Sometimes we're just sitting there just waiting for stuff to happen, and we've got the tools and the resources right in front of us to make it happen. The only difference is we got to move, right? We got to have the action. We got to do the steps it takes to actually dig the hole, right? To accomplish the mission. So are you waiting on that shovel right now, right? Is this you? Do you have a shovel in your hand, all right, to hit your goals, to be the best version of you, but you're just kind of sitting there waiting for it to happen for you? All right. Today's call is going to hopefully get you to where you actually take the first step and start digging that hole, right, with that shovel. So think about that. Drive. Guys, what's your driving force? I want you to put it in the agency chat. What is your driving force for becoming the best? All right. I'll share a story for you. So back when I was 17, okay, it was like halfway through my senior year in high school. I ended up signing up for the Marines. So I had to go to the recruiter's office, sign up for this, right? And at the time, I couldn't really, I was athletic, always played sports, but if you told me to run 3 miles, I was like, I did not want to do that, right? If you told me I had to run 3 miles in under like 20 minutes, I didn't think I could do that, right? It was going to take me at least probably 25 minutes, 27 minutes at the time. Wasn't a long distance runner. I could sprint, probably beat anybody in a sprint, but when it came to long distance, couldn't do it. Okay. One problem with that: the PT test for the Marines, you had to run 3 minutes or 3 miles. And to get a perfect score, I think it had to be under 21 minutes. It might have been 18. I don't know. It was either 18 or 21, whatever one it was. There was another problem with that test, and you had to do 20 pull-ups to get a perfect score. And at the time, I think I could maybe do like 9 or 10. And so I remember enlisting, and I had like a 4-month time frame from the time I signed up to the time I turned 18, graduated, and could actually leave for boot camp, that I had to end up getting that 3-mile run under that time and get my pull-ups up so I could get a perfect score. And the driving force for me to do that was at the county fair. Okay. We had this little tent set up, and I was in this delayed entry program with the recruiter, helping him set this stuff up right before I went to boot camp at the fair. And I'll never forget, this guy walked up, this older guy, and he was talking to the recruiter. Then he looked at me and he said, "That kid's just way too small to ever be able to be a Marine. He's never going to make it. He's too tiny. He's just tall and skinny, can never run, can't do the push-ups. He's not going to make it." And I remember leaving that event thinking, I'm going to prove you wrong, right? I ended up graduating boot camp as a squad leader, getting great scores on all the PT tests. But that guy's comment stuck in the back of my mind forever. And that was the driving force for me to prove people wrong. You probably have had a similar thing happen to you. All right. And so think about what that thing was and then apply it to your life right now. Maybe you had somebody tell you you're never going to get out of debt. Maybe you've had somebody tell you that you're never going to lose the weight that you want to lose, or whatever it is, right? Think about that. Think about the comment somebody made, and then what's your driving force to become the best version of you? It's okay to have a chip on your shoulder as you run in this industry. The top agents are the agents who always have a chip on their shoulder. So what is your drive? Okay. Think about it. What is your drive to be the best? Number 2, you got to prioritize it. Okay. You see, when I couldn't do those pull-ups, when I couldn't run that fast in a 3-mile, every single day, I stopped driving my truck to school and I rode a bike to school. My school was 9 miles from my house. So from the middle of my senior year to the end of my senior year, I either rode the bike, right? I got on a bike and I lived in the hills in New York. It wasn't the city. And I rode that bike 9 miles one way to school and 9 miles back, right? That about killed me every single day. I'd wake up like 2 hours early to do it, but I had to prioritize getting better. So that's what I did, right? What kind of prioritization, if I said that right, do you need to do to become the best agent, to become the best team leader? Okay, guys, chances are you got to prioritize, all right, your activity in the field, your activity on the phones. Okay, when you wake up in the morning, you got to be prepared. All right, your goals and dreams are not just going to magically fall into your lap with no effort. Okay, so what is taking away your attention right now? Maybe it's self-doubt. Maybe it's just, I don't even know. Maybe it's a negative mindset. Maybe it's you've got all this other stuff going on, right? I love when agents say, hey, I didn't hit my goals because I had this, and this going on. And, some of it might be legit, but at the end of the day, are all of those things strong enough to make you stay stuck in the same spot and not hit your goals? Are they important enough to keep you from hitting what you actually want to hit? Because if you allow them to, you're saying that those things are actually more important than you becoming the best version of you, right? So I'm not going to let that happen, right? I'm going to prioritize hitting my goals and becoming the best first. I'm not going to let all these things pop up, right? You got to be solution oriented, not problem oriented. There's never any problem. There's just a solution. And that's what you got to focus on. Agents who stay stuck, who don't succeed in this industry, are because they focus on the problem over and over and over again, and they don't put any effort into prioritizing the solution to that problem, right? Maybe your goal last week was to hit 5K and you missed it. You look at your problem, right? What was your problem? You didn't have enough activity. You didn't sit down with enough people. You didn't have enough leads. You didn't make enough phone calls. So going into this week, is it the lead's fault or is it your fault, right? Are you going to prioritize the problem or the solution? What's the solution? Hey, I'm going to knock on 10 more doors today than I did last week, right? 10 more doors a day for 5 days is going to let you hit your goal. So what are you prioritizing? Guys, if we could be honest with ourselves, some of us are prioritizing allowing ourselves to not win, right? You're literally taking every excuse in the book and allowing it to prevent you from becoming the best version of you. You got to jump over that blockade, right? You got to get rid of that attitude and realize that once you start prioritizing solutions, you're going to start seeing the success you want to see as an agent. Okay. Once you start prioritizing throwing money in that savings account versus spending it, you're going to start seeing your savings account grow. So think about that. Number 2, if you want to be the best version of you, you got to prioritize that first and foremost. Number 3, all right, you got to learn, guys, to be the best. You got to learn from the best. It's just the way that it works, right? You can't become something just out of thin air, right? You have to follow somebody that is where you want to be. One of the best ways to never hit your goal and to never become the best is to listen to people who are not where you want to be. All right. Just think about that. Why would you spend any time taking any advice from somebody who is not where you want to be? You will end up becoming like the things and the people you hang around with. It's just that way that it works. So you have to learn your craft. Guys, as an agent, you got to learn how to do this job the right way. You got to learn from people who are winning every single day. If you're not a big participator in the agency chat, you got to jump into it, because if you get around people winning, you're going to start winning too. Okay. But if you stay off on an island, you're not going to make it, right? So learn your craft. Guys, learn the presentation. There's only so many things in this job that you can control, right? You can control your schedule, your activity, how many leads you have ready to go for the week, and you can control how well prepared you are for knowing the door approach, the presentation, the phone approach, right? The phone script, all of these things, right? You can learn those things even if you're a brand new agent. That's what you can control. What can you not control? Okay, you can't control your client's health, what they can pay, their attitude, right? You can't control any of those things. Those are all the blocks that God puts into place for you. He leads you to the right people, but only if you're prepared enough to actually know how to present it in the first place. So if you're going into this week and over the past few weeks, you feel like you've just been kind of winging it out there in the field, right? You've not been following a script, a presentation. When you call someone, they answer the phone. You don't really have a script printed out and taped so you know exactly what to say on that telesales. Change that this week. Okay, learn how to do this the right way, and it makes it so much easier for you to become the best version of you. But if you're fighting against the grain, right, it's very, very difficult. All right, here's a story for you guys. So this past year, all right, you guys know I'm big into the outdoors, right? So I get my tree stand loaded up, I get my kayak loaded up, and I drop this thing into this creek slash river. All right. It's normally a creek, but we got a lot of rain and it basically turned into a river. So it was going pretty quick. And I had this spot that I had to get to. So I thought, okay, I'm going to put my kayak in there and I could get there very quick versus walking all the way around this mountain. I'm just going to get in the water and go down there. So I put my kayak in here, load all my stuff up in it, right? Go get to the destination super easy. I got there so fast. It was simple, right? But something happened, all right, when I got back out of the woods and I had to go back to where I came from. I couldn't paddle the canoe up the stream. All right. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought, yeah, this thing's going really fast. I'm going to get to my spot really quick. I didn't take the time to learn how do you paddle a canoe upstream. All right. When the water's rushing, like to the point where you probably couldn't even swim in it if you wanted to. Right. So what did I have to do? I had to carry that kayak like 2 miles around the woods to get back to the truck. I learned my lesson there. The reason I share that story with you guys is because some of you guys are going out there in this job right now, not prepared, and you're struggling. You're struggling to close the deals, right? You're paddling upstream when you don't have to. Just follow the system and you can expect the same results as the top 15, right? That you guys saw earlier in this call. So learn the craft. Guys, as a new agent, I would literally study I would practice the presentation in my car. I'd practice the door approach to myself before I knocked on that door, right? The more you learn, the better you're going to do, the best you're going to become, right? If you want to be the number one agent, guys, here's a secret for you, new agents. If you want to beat the experienced agents this year, all right, you want to be the top dog, the top person. If you study more and you do more activity, you will write more business than the agent who knows everything. You could take an experienced agent who has been doing this industry for years, but if they only sit with 5 people in a week and you sit with 15, you're going to beat them every single week. All right. You're going to hit the Scotland trip. Easy. So learn what works and get rid of what doesn't work. Don't try to paddle up the stream like I tried to, right? I wish hindsight 2020, I wish I would have looked at that water and thought, this is going to be pretty hard to get back up here. I didn't do that, right? I just jumped in that thing and went down, and I didn't even think about what was going to happen when I got back out of the woods to try to get back up that way. So don't paddle up the stream. If you want to be the best version of you, learn from the people that have already done what you're trying to achieve. All right. And those people are in your call to close thread. They're in the WhatsApp chat every single day. So jump into that thing and run. And my last tip for you guys on today's call is you have to believe that you're actually worthy of being the best version of you. Okay. I think this is probably the biggest reason people either hit their goal or they miss their goal. It's because they believe that they're actually worthy and capable of hitting it, right? If you guys have a goal in mind, financial freedom, hitting the Scotland trip, being in the top 5 this week, whatever your goal is, that's just a clue that you're already capable of achieving it. You got to believe it. Don't look in WhatsApp and think, oh, I can't do what that agent does. right? I can't do a 10K week like Becca and Dennis did. I can't do this. Don't think like that. Think if they could do it, there's no reason that you can't do it, right, guys? We've all got the same tools, same resources. You have to believe that you're actually worthy of hitting that goal. And secondly, you got to believe that God actually is rooting for you to hit that goal. He wants you to win, right? He wants you to be successful. A lot of people feel like, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't want you to succeed. Maybe he doesn't want you to become wealthy, become financially free. He wants you to hit those things. Look in the Bible. Literally every verse talks about how he's directing your path. He has plans to prosper you and not to harm you. It's the enemy, right? It is the devil putting opposite thoughts in your head that think you can't do it, right? Maybe you think I'm too old to be the top agent, or I'm too young to be the top agent, or I'm too new to be the top agent. All of those things don't come from him. What comes from him is peace and prosperity. And you got to believe that you're actually worthy of obtaining it and hitting it. So as you guys go into this week, running to be the best version of you, think about that. Do you believe that you're actually worthy of having it happen? And once you start believing that, it's amazing how fast you start hitting your targets and your goals for the week. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on here to kick off this Monday call. Let's go make this week the biggest week we have ever had as a company. All right, let's run hard, and we'll be back here on Wednesday.